Dave, we got a bunch of new stuff that you like to talk about, but there's still some old stuff for kids too in the new product section tonight.
This is mostly not about new stuff. It's about new stuff for kids, you know, and what you can get kids to fish with so that they don't mess themselves up and mess you up in the process. Because you know, there's a lot of sharp hooks and stuff involved when you got a lot of kids around. First thing you have to remember is that kids don't have a long attention span at all. You know, they maybe an hour, maybe 2 hours. If they're under 10 years old, you don't want to be out there all day, and especially if you're not catching stuff. You know, if it gets to be a lull, they're the first ones to want to start doing other things. You know, use their little rod as a sword or dig a hole with it. You know, that's what's going to happen. So you have to go into it knowing that, you know what, this is going to maybe last 30 minutes, it may last an hour, but when they're ready to go, we got to go. Yeah. Otherwise, if you keep them there, they're going to start hating it.
The thing that I think you need to do is make sure that you take the kid home before he's ready to go home.
Exactly. You're the one who says, hey, you know, it's time to go, or let's
it's time to
head
go
home.
And then they're like, oh, we don't want to go yet. And then, you know, that they look forward to that next trip.
Right. And the first thing you want to do is to make sure that you want to catch some fish is you're going to use some very small hooks. Like, this is all the stuff that is laying in my backyard right now. You can tell, you know, you look at this stuff lays out on my dock all day. And this is the exact same, these rods have killed hundreds of brim. So these tiny little hooks like this in my hand right here, I don't know if they can see it, get up on that, but a tiny little hair hook like that with a piece of bread on it, or a little piece of shrimp or anything like that, a 10-aught, or
you know what really works
or
good too?
an 8 or 9-aught, that's going to hook whatever eats it. It doesn't matter what it is.
That little red strip around the Oscar Mayer bologna.
Yep, that'll work.
That little piece.
That'll work.
Oh
too.
yeah, because it'll stay on the hook.
Yep. Now once you start getting them out of that range where you're using bread balls and little bits of bologna or whatever, and they want to start throwing lures, you want to pick lures that have their own action. You don't want to have the kid have to do anything to make it work. You know,
So you've got a gold spoon because it has a lot of flash.
It has a lot of flash. It does all he has to do is crank it. He doesn't have to do anything else. All he has to do is crank it. Also, it has a single hook on it, which, you know, once you start throwing treble hooks around and you got a little kid who's out looking backwards, he's going to nail you. And you know,
which do you want to pull out of you?
Exactly.
Or out of something else.
By the way, some people will actually put single hooks on the lipped plug.
Great idea.
And if you have a lipped plug with single hooks on it, you know, you could still hurt yourself, but you don't have the 3 hooks in your ear. You've only got 1.
Well, that's a whole lot safer than a bunch of little trebles.
Any lure with a single hook in it is also going to be a good idea.
Now, this is one of your favorites.
Yeah, you know, I like to use jerk baits, and when I have a kid along, the best thing to do is to use a weighted hook.
Okay.
Because they can cast them a lot further, and it adds action to it when they just jig it a little bit. You know, that weight just sinking gives it an action.
Yeah, just
so you don't have to worry about the kids, you know, putting action on the lure. It has it by itself. All they have to do is pretty much reel it in and let it go.
Now, what about little things like this? I see you've got some little spinners and things.
Yeah, like I said again, any kind of spinner, like a Mep spinner or a little jig with a curly tail on it, where all they have to do is reel it back to you, cast it out and reel it back to you, they're going to have a lot more success on.
Cool.
Now, one thing that you have to remember, which here in Florida is a big deal, is the sun.
Okay.
Now, in Florida and everywhere actually, the sun is at its worst from 10 until 3 o'clock. So if you try to get out before 10 or after 3, you're going to mitigate a lot of the damage. Use a big floppy hat. You know, a kid with a big floppy hat.
I might have to get one of these.
It makes good pictures. It makes for really good pictures. You're awful cute in that one.
Yeah, I'll bet.
You wear a big floppy hat.
Roll it up like a cowboy.
Make sure you cover up real good with long sleeve shirts, sun gloves, the whole 9 yards. Because it's very important for children not to be burned. You know, once you're old like us and we got burned as kids, our skin is ruined.
Yeah.
You know, you got to protect them from very early on. Any dermatologist will tell you most of your damage has been done when you're a little kid.
And I've seen a lot of kids now wearing these little face skins.
I make my kids wear them.
They think it's cool
because
it is cool.
It's
almost like playing dress up or something.
Yep, I make sure that all my kids have those on, and also a good waterproof sunscreen, because if you're near the water, they're going to be in the water. Yeah. And you know, if you don't have something on you that's going to stay on when the water's on you, then you're you're not doing any good.
It's
Because
not
they're
doing
going
you
to
a
wash
bit of
it
good
right
at all.
off.
Yep. Keep the kids protected. Keep yourself protected with single hooks.
That's right.
And have fun.
That's
the main
right.
thing.
Try
Just
to catch
have
them
fun
and
with
get
it.
catch them and get out.